The late afternoon sun slanted through my bedroom window, lighting up the small dust specks that danced lazily in the air. I had always loved this time of day, quiet, golden, gentle. It made me feel like life still held warm things for me, even at 63. I was humming softly to myself as I fixed my hair, brushing out the silver waves that used to be chestnut brown. Tonight was special. I was going to my daughter's house for dinner, our little ritual, something Lily had insisted we do every other Thursday. "It keeps us close, Mom," she would say, and I believed her. That faith was why what happened next felt like a knife sliding between my ribs. As I reached for the pearl earrings my late husband Thomas bought me on our 10th anniversary, my phone buzzed on the vanity. I ignored it at first. I disliked interruptions when I was getting ready. They always made me feel rushed, and I'd promised myself that growing older meant slowing down, savoring each moment. But then it buzzed again, and again. With a sigh, I picked it up, expecting maybe a delivery notification, or some spam call I could swipe away. Instead, I froze. Asterisk, asterisk, Robert Turner, asterisk, 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 call me immediately. Asterisk, asterisk, my attorney. A man who was so calm and dry that even during my husband's estate settlement he had said things like, "No rush, whenever you get the chance," he didn't text. He certainly didn't text in all caps. A chill crept into my chest. Something was wrong. I tapped the message. My fingers were suddenly stiff. Before I could overthink it, I hit call. He picked up before it even rang. "Evelyn, thank God." His voice was tight, too tight. "Are you alone?" I turned slowly and sat on the edge of my bed. "Yes, what's going on?" He exhaled shakily, and I felt dread coil in my stomach. "I received new legal documents this morning," he said. "Filed by your daughter?" I blinked. "Lily, that must be a mistake. She never files anything without telling me. We share everything." A terrible pause filled the line. "Not this," he said softly. "Evelyn, she's petitioning the court to have you declared mentally incompetent." The words slammed into me. "What?" My heart pounded so violently I pressed a hand to my chest. "That's not possible," I whispered. "She wouldn't. She couldn't. Why would she do that?" Robert continued gently, as if every word hurt him to speak. "She's claiming cognitive decline, memory lapses, confusion, inability to manage your finances safely, a whole list. That's nonsense." I snapped, my voice sharper than I intended. "I'm forgetful sometimes, who isn't? But I am not incompetent." "I know," he said quickly. "I know. But she submitted medical statements." "What medical statements?" "Falsified ones," he said grimly. "None of the doctors exist." My mouth went dry, my tongue felt thick. I tried to think rationally, to make sense of something that made no sense. "You said she filed for what exactly?" "Full conservatorship," he replied quietly. "If granted, she gains legal control over your assets, property, medical decisions, everything." The world tilted. "My daughter wants to take over my life, Evelyn." His voice softened considerably. "Her husband, Jason, filed supporting documents. There are signatures, supposedly yours, requesting help managing your finances." "I never signed anything like that," I whispered hoarsely. "We know that, they're forged." I pressed my hand to my mouth, trying to keep myself from breaking apart on the phone. "But why?" I whispered. "Why would Lily do this? She loves me." Robert hesitated. "I don't know, but Evelyn, this was not a misunderstanding. Everything was prepared, thought out. Filed quietly, she planned this." I couldn't breathe. I felt like a fist was squeezing my heart. What do I do?" My voice cracked. Should I confront her? "No," he said firmly. "Absolutely not. Not yet. We need evidence, context, and strategy before you make any move." I rubbed my trembling hands together, trying to focus. "Tonight, dinner, Lily's house. Our tradition." How could I sit across from her now, knowing she was trying to strip me of my independence? My home, my dignity. Do I still go? I whispered a pause. Yes, he said finally, go. Act normal. Don't let on that you know anything. Let's gather information first. Act normal. Right, I hung up the phone slowly, staring blankly at my reflection in the mirror. The woman staring back at me looked suddenly older. Fragile, betrayed, my daughter, my baby girl. The one I carried inside me for 9 months, the one I raised alone after Thomas died, the one I supported through heartbreaks in college and 2 miscarriages and every storm life threw at her. That daughter was trying to take everything from me. Why? I wasn't ready to believe she was heartless. Something had to be behind this. Someone must have pressured her, lied to her, manipulated her. Still, the signatures were hers. The intention was hers. I closed my eyes as a tear slid down my cheek. I quickly wiped it away. No. Not like this. I would not go to her house looking weak or broken. I fastened my pearl earrings with steady, deliberate hands. If Lily had chosen betrayal, then I would choose clarity, answers, strength. And I would walk into her home tonight, not as the unsuspecting mother she thought I was, but as a woman on a mission to uncover the truth. Even if it shattered me all over again, sleep did not visit me that night. I lay awake long after dinner at Lily's, staring at the ceiling while shadows crawled over the walls. Every laugh Lily forced, every glance she stole at Jason, every leading question they asked replayed in my mind like a broken record. Are you ever confused in the mornings, Mom? Have you thought about getting a caretaker, just for help, you know? Have you checked your medications lately? Medications. I wasn't even asterisk on asterisk medications. I kept hearing Robert's voice. Asterisk, don't confront her yet. Watch. Listen. Collect asterisk, so I watched, I listened. But what I asterisk felt asterisk, that was the hardest part. The hurt twisted deep inside me. Not just betrayal, but disbelief. I didn't want to accept it. Part of me still thought I'd wake up, and this nightmare would turn out to be nothing more than a misunderstanding. But morning came, and so did reality. Asterisk asterisk. The first unraveling asterisk asterisk. My first step was to gather my own information. Old age had not made me stupid. It had made me careful. I kept files of everything, bank statements, legal papers, property records. I opened my filing cabinet, flipping through folders with shaking hands. And there, placed neatly between my tax forms and home insurance papers, was something that shouldn't have been there at all. A letter with my name written in handwriting that wasn't mine. I opened it, heart racing. Inside, a printed medical evaluation claiming I showed early signs of cognitive decline, signed by a doctor I had never met, stamped with a clinic I had never visited. My vision wavered for a moment. I sat back in my chair, gripping the paper until it crumpled. Someone had placed this in my home, in my private files. Lily, Jason, both. My lips pressed into a thin line. No more illusions. Something dark was happening. I picked up the phone and dialed Robert. There's more, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. Then we follow the thread, he replied. Every lie leaves a trail. Asterisk asterisk, the second thread, a visit to the bank asterisk asterisk 2 days later. I did something I never thought I'd do. I checked my bank accounts for tampering. For decades, I'd trusted Lily with my spare key, my safe code. Even the fact that I had a savings account no one else knew about. The banker slid the papers toward me with a polite smile. Here you are, Mrs. Hart. My breath caught. There were withdrawals, small at first, $200, $350, then larger ones, $1, zeros, euro 0, $2, 500, all in the last 6 months. All signed digitally, all supposedly by me. I didn't authorize these. I said quietly. The banker frowned. We'll open an investigation immediately. I nodded, thanking him, but inside something was breaking. Lily knew my online banking password. She'd helped set up digital statements for me last year, my daughter. The child I held through fevers, nightmares, breakups, stealing from me. My hands trembled as I left the bank and sat in the car, gripping the steering wheel, trying not to sob. Jason, I could imagine doing something like this, but Lily, how had their marriage twisted her so badly? Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the third thread, a visit from the private investigator asterisk asterisk, a week later, Marcus. The private investigator Robert hired came to my home with thick folders under his arm. His eyes were compassionate, but his jaw was tight. Mrs. Hart, he said as he sat across from me at my dining table, I'm afraid what I found is not good. He opened the first folder. Your daughter and her husband have been meeting with a financial consultant about liquidating assets. He tapped a page. Your assets. A cold wave rushed up my spine. Marcus continued, flipping more pages. And 2 months ago, Jason applied for a high-interest loan. He listed your home as potential collateral under asterisk Lily's future conservatorship. Asterisk, my breath hitched. My home, the house where Lily grew up, the house where Thomas and I built our life. He flipped to the next section. And here, he said quietly, are forged medical statements claiming you're suffering from early dementia. I'm not, I whispered furiously. I know, but they needed evidence to support the court petition. Jason did the forging, but he slid another document toward me. These signatures, the ones requesting legal help for your finances, these asterisk were asterisk signed by Lily. My heart twisted like a wet rag. She signed because Jason convinced her this was necessary, but she signed willingly. I closed my eyes as tears slipped down my cheeks silently. My daughter, my only child, had chosen to betray me. She may have been manipulated, pressured, even frightened, but she had still chosen it. It hurt in a way I didn't have words for. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the fourth thread, listening to the past asterisk asterisk, after Marcus left. I sat alone in the quiet house, surrounded by memories of Lily. The echo of her little girl laughter in the hallway, her graduation picture on the mantel, her wedding portrait hanging in the living room, the day she became Mrs. Jason Whitmore. The day she changed. I remembered something then. A moment years ago, just after Lily married Jason, we were in my kitchen. She had bruises on her arm, faint but visible. I'd asked her what happened. She laughed, brushed it off. Oh, Mom, I'm just clumsy. Jason had kissed her temple moments later, smiling with too perfect warmth. Even then I felt something cold about him, but Lily had insisted she was happy, that he loved her. That she was fine. I should have questioned more. I should have looked deeper. I should have protected her better. But hindsight is a cruel companion. It tells you everything you should have done too late to matter. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the dinner replay asterisk asterisk. I revisited that dinner in my mind again and again. The way Jason kept answering questions asterisk for asterisk Lily. The way she looked at him before responding. The way he kept subtly checking my wine glass, as if waiting for me to slip up. At one point he even said, "You know, Evelyn, you should consider giving Lily power of attorney soon, just to make things easier." Lily had dropped her fork. She shook her head slightly, almost imperceptibly, a small, desperate look. I'd missed it at the time. But now I saw it. She asterisk was asterisk scared, but scared enough to betray me. I wasn't sure anymore. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the fifth thread. A dark possibility asterisk asterisk that night. Marcus cold again. I've found something else, he said, voice firm, and it may explain everything. My stomach twisted. What is it? Jason is in deep with loan sharks, very deep. He owes money he doesn't have, and they've threatened him. My heart stopped mid-beat. Your daughter knows, he continued, and she's terrified. He's been manipulating her, convincing her that the only way to save them is to secure legal control over your assets. My throat tightened, so she agreed, he said softly, because she thought she had no choice. But Jason, he's the mastermind. I leaned back against the wall, sliding to the floor slowly. My daughter wasn't evil. She wasn't greedy. She was trapped, desperate, afraid, and in that fear, she made choices that cut me deeply. It didn't excuse what she'd done, but it explained it, and knowing the reason made the pain sharper, not softer. Hash hash asterisk asterisk the final thread. A plan begins to form asterisk asterisk later that night. When the house was silent, I spread all the documents across my dining table. Bank withdrawals, forged medical letters, loan applications, fake signatures, meeting notes with financial consultants. The ugly truth sat in front of me like a battlefield map. This was no longer about confusion or helplessness. This was an attack, a planned, strategic, deliberate attempt to take control of my life. But as I looked at each piece of evidence, I felt something shift inside me. Grief turned into steel, fear hardened into resolve. They thought I was weak. They thought I was aging, confused, easy to manipulate. They forgot one thing: I had survived more storms than they could imagine. Raising a daughter alone, losing my husband, rebuilding my life, and now I would protect what was mine. And I would do it with grace, intelligence, and precision. The threads of betrayal were tangled, but I would be the one to unravel them, and when I did, I wouldn't simply confront them. I would win. The morning after Marcus delivered the truth, I awoke with the kind of clarity that only comes when a heart has been shattered enough times to harden. There is a moment in grief where fear dissolves, not because danger has passed, but because one finally understands the shape of the enemy. Jason was not simply careless or greedy. He was dangerous, and he had woven my daughter into a web of manipulation, so tight she could no longer see where she ended and he began. But now I had something he didn't expect. Asterisk asterisk I knew. Asterisk asterisk and I was done pretending. Hash hash asterisk asterisk the quiet before the storm. Asterisk asterisk the house felt cold that morning. Not physically. My thermostat was always steady, but emotionally, every room carried reminders of a life too trusting, too open. The dining table where we celebrated Lily's graduations. The living room where Thomas held his last birthday party. The kitchen where Lily and I baked Christmas cookies long after she moved out. All of these memories, warm, happy, innocent, felt like fragile glass sitting beside evidence of betrayal. On the table lay the growing stack of documents, forged letters, bank withdrawals, loan applications, financial consultations. They were silent, but they screamed the truth. And then there was the worst of them all, the petition to have me declared mentally incompetent. Filed by my daughter, signed by her hand, I traced the signature slowly, my fingers trembling. Asterisk Lily Whitmore. Asterisk my own maiden name crossed out beneath. A symbolic erasure of who she was before she married him. A soft knock sounded on my door, pulling me from my thoughts. It was Marcus. He held a small device in his hand, sleek, discreet, silvery. "What's that?" I asked. "A recorder," he replied, "legal, court-admissible. If you can get Lily or Jason to slip a will, have it." I swallowed. "I don't know if I can talk to them again," I whispered. "Not after all this." "You can," he said gently, laying it in my palm. "Because you must." Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the phone call that broke me asterisk asterisk. It took me nearly an hour to work up the courage to call Lily. When her number flashed across my phone, my heart squeezed painfully. For a moment, I wondered if she could hear it in my silence. If she could sense that something inside me had changed forever. She answered on the third ring. "Hi, Mom," she chirped. Forced cheerfulness, too bright, too rehearsed. "Hi, sweetheart," I said softly, swallowing the pain. There was a pause, a brittle pause. "Everything okay?" she asked. "No, Lily, nothing is okay. You tried to dismantle my entire life." But I said, "Yes. I was wondering if you and Jason could come over this weekend. I have something important to discuss." Silence. A heavy, telling silence. Then, "I'm sure," she said slowly. "What is it about?" "You'll see," I replied gently. "It's better if we talk in person." The line crackled softly. I heard her breathing quicken. Okay, we'll come by on Saturday. Good, I'll see you then. I hung up quickly before emotion cracked my voice. My hands were shaking again, not out of fear this time, but out of grief. Because I had just invited my daughter into the confrontation that might break her. ****, gathering allies ***, that afternoon, Robert and Marcus sat in my living room, the three of us forming a quiet war council. Robert placed a thick folder on the table. These are the petition documents, he explained. We'll file them immediately after the confrontation. Once they're submitted, Jason's attempt to claim conservatorship becomes evidence of fraud. Marcus leaned back in his chair. I've also traced the debt collectors. They've been at Jason's workplace. His gym even followed him home. My breath caught. Does Lily know? She knows he's in trouble. Marcus answered. She doesn't know how deep. And the forged medical statements? I asked. Confirmed fake, he said. We're ready to expose them. Robert's tone softened. Evelyn, this meeting on Saturday, it's going to be difficult. I nodded slowly. I know. Lily may panic. He continued. She may lie, deflect, or collapse emotionally. You need to stay calm. While showing my child every lie she had been complicit in. Jason will react aggressively, Marcus warned. He'll deny everything. He may even try to storm out. We'll have officers outside, as discussed. I exhaled shakily. A part of me wondered when my life had turned into a strategy session for a familial takedown. But betrayal changes the landscape of everything you thought you understood. I'm ready, I whispered, and for the first time I truly meant it. #****, a mother's breaking point, ****, the night before the confrontation. I sat in my living room, staring at a picture of Lily at 6 years old. Her hair was tied in 2 messy pigtails. She was missing her 2 front teeth, grinning with frosting smeared on her cheeks from a birthday cupcake. She used to look at me like I could fix anything. Where had that little girl gone? I touched the edge of the photo frame, feeling something inside me splinter. I had always been soft with Lily, maybe too soft, a single mother trying to fill every role, to smooth every path, to take every burden off her shoulders. I loved her fiercely, so fiercely I often shielded her from consequences. Was that my mistake? Had I taught her, unknowingly, that I would always rescue her? That my love was a shield she could exploit? A tear slid down my cheek. I'm sorry, baby, I whispered to the photograph. But I can't protect you from this. I brushed the tear away and straightened my spine. This time you have to face the truth. #***, Saturday. The gathering storm, ****. I woke early on Saturday, unable to sleep. I cleaned the house unnecessarily, straightened cushions I'd already straightened, wiped surfaces that didn't need wiping. It wasn't nervousness, it was instinct, preparation, a soldier's readiness before battle. At 4:58 p.m., a car door slammed outside. My pulse spiked. Lily and Jason were here. Lily walked toward the front door first. She looked pale, tired, thin, like someone who hadn't slept in weeks. I saw the strain in her face, the fear hidden behind forced composure. Jason walked beside her, tall and smug, eyes sharp like a predator entering familiar territory. As they approached, I noticed Lily's hand tremble slightly. Jason's hand clamped tightly over hers, controlling, guiding, claiming ownership he had no right to. I opened the door with a calmness I didn't feel. "Hi, Mom," Lily whispered. "Hello, sweetheart," I said, offering a gentle smile. Jason nodded. "Evening, Evelyn." Evening, as if this were just another casual weekend visit. I stepped aside. "Come in." They entered. The door closed behind them with a soft click that felt like the sealing of fate. ###, the final calm before impact, ****. We sat in the living room. Lily perched on the edge of the couch. Jason lounged as though he already owned the place. "Mom," Lily began quietly, "what is this about?" I took a slow breath. "This," I said, pulling the first folder from the table, is about the truth. Jason's jaw tightened. Lily swallowed hard. I placed the forged medical evaluations on the table, then the bank withdrawals, the loan documents, the conservatorship petition, the signatures, each paper a blade, each truth a cut. Lily's hands flew to her mouth. Mom, I can explain. Jason leaned forward, voice cold. These are misunderstandings. You're overreacting. But I wasn't looking at him. My eyes were on my daughter. So tell me, Lily, I said softly, the words trembling with heartache. When did you decide I couldn't be trusted with my own life? She burst into tears. Jason's eyes flickered with irritation. Lily reached for me with shaking hands. Mom, I'm sorry, I didn't know how to stop it. She wasn't finished, but Jason was. He stood abruptly. This is ridiculous. We're leaving. No, I said quietly. And when he turned toward the door, ready to storm out, 2 officers stepped inside, blocking his path. Jason froze. Lily sobbed harder. And at that moment, amid the chaos, the truth, the consequences, something in me finally broke. Not in weakness, not in fear, but in resolve, I looked at my daughter, trembling in tear, streaked, and whispered, "This ends now." For a moment, silence flooded the room. Thick, suffocating, the kind that makes even the air feel like it's holding its breath. Jason stood frozen as the 2 officers blocked the exit. Lily trembled beside him, her face blotched with tears, her fingers clutching the couch cushion like she needed to hold on to something real before she fell apart completely. I rose slowly from my seat. My legs felt steady. My heart felt solid. For the first time since this nightmare began, I felt in control. Jason broke the silence first. "This is ridiculous," he spat. "You called the police. For what? For talking to your daughter about managing your affairs. This is harassment." Marcus stepped forward from the hallway. He had been silent until now, waiting for the perfect moment. He placed a recording device on the coffee table. "Actually," he said calmly, "what's ridiculous is assuming you could forge medical documents, falsify signatures, access bank accounts without authorization, and file for financial conservatorship without consequences." Jason paled. One of the officers spoke firmly. "Mr. Whitmore, we have a warrant to bring you in for questioning under allegations of fraud, identity theft, and attempted exploitation of a vulnerable adult." Jason turned sharply toward Lily. "You told them, didn't you?" "You stupid, Jason." Lily gasped, recoiling as if struck. "That was it, my breaking point, my motherhood rising like fire. Don't you speak to her that way," I said, my voice low but lethal. Jason's eyes flicked to me with hatred, but also fear. He tried to puff himself up, but it was too late. His power had dissolved the moment those officers stepped inside. "This is a setup," he choked. "A damn setup, no," I said softly, stepping closer, my eyes locked on his. "This is justice." The officers took him by the arms. Jason fought at first, but his rage only made them tighten their grip. "Get your hands off me. Lily, say something. Tell them this is a misunderstanding." Lily stared at him with wide eyes, shaking violently. She didn't speak, not one word. Jason swore, struggling, but the officers dragged him out the front door until his curses faded into the distance. When the door clicked shut, the house fell into another suffocating silence. Hash, asterisk, the collapse, asterisk, Lily sank onto the couch, burying her face in her hands. Her body shook with sobs, loud, wrenching, painful cries that tore through the quiet house. I stood there frozen, torn between heartbreak and fury. Finally, I walked to her and sat beside her, but I didn't touch her, not yet. "Mom," she choked, "I didn't want to do this. I didn't want any of this." My voice was steady, though my insides trembled. "But you did," I whispered. "You signed papers to take my home. You let him steal from me. You filed for conservatorship, Lily. That wasn't him, that was you." She sobbed harder, gasping for breath. "I know," she cried. "I know, and I'm so ashamed. I was scared. Jason said we would be killed if we didn't pay his debts. He told me you'd help, but you wouldn't if we asked. He said you'd never understand. He said we..." Had to hide it, and then it escalated, and I didn't know how to stop it. I swallowed hard, and instead of coming to your mother, I said quietly, you chose to take everything from me without a single conversation. That's what hurts the most. She covered her face again. I'm sorry, she whispered, voice thin and broken. Mom, please, I'm so sorry. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the confrontation of truth asterisk asterisk. I turned slightly to face her. Lily, I said gently but firmly, look at me. She hesitated, then lifted her red, swollen eyes. When did you stop trusting me? I asked. She cried harder at the question. I didn't stop trusting you, she said, her voice cracking. I stopped trusting myself. Jason controlled everything. He told me what to believe, what to think, what to fear. I thought I was protecting you too. If he got desperate, he might have hurt you. I blinked, stunned. You thought he would hurt me? She nodded. And still, I whispered, you gave him the keys to take my life apart. Her face crumpled. I know. I'm sorry. I'll never forgive myself for this. I studied her for a long moment. My daughter. My lost, frightened, manipulated daughter. Not innocent, but not evil either. Finally, I spoke. You made terrible choices, choices that nearly destroyed us both. I won't pretend it didn't hurt, Lily. It shattered me. She nodded rapidly, crying again. But I continued softly, I know Jason. I always knew something was wrong about him, and I know what fear can do to a woman. You didn't betray me out of malice. You betrayed me out of fear. She stared at me, breathless. That doesn't erase what happened. I added, but it helps me understand it. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the tenderness amid ruins asterisk asterisk. She reached out timidly, as though expecting me to pull away. Can I hug you? She whispered. For a moment, I didn't move. Then, very slowly, I opened my arms. She collapsed against me, sobbing into my shoulder like she was 6 years old again, crying over scraped knees. I held her, not because the pain was gone, not because I forgave everything instantly, but because she was still my daughter. And because love, the real kind, the deep maternal kind, does not evaporate in the face of betrayal. It simply aches. We stayed like that for a long time. Eventually her sobs quieted. Her breath steadied. She pulled back just enough to look at me. What happens now? She whispered. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, sweet revenge, done my way asterisk asterisk, there will be consequences. I said gently. The police will handle Jason. You will need to cooperate. Tell them everything. She nodded. I will. You will also attend therapy, not for him, not for us, for yourself. Another nod. Tears glistening, and I'm updating my legal documents. I continued. You will not have access to my accounts. My lawyer will manage things. You will need to rebuild trust over time. Her face fell. I understand, she whispered. And Lily, I added, touching her cheek softly, you will rebuild it, if you choose to. She closed her eyes, trembling. I want to, Mom, I want to so badly. I know, I said. This was my revenge, not destruction, not bitterness. Not cruelty, but truth, boundaries, growth, healing that forced her to face the consequences and rebuild from the ruins she helped create. Jason would face justice, but Lily, she would face herself, and that, I knew, would hurt her far more, and heal her far more, than any punishment I could impose. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, a slow rise from the ashes asterisk asterisk over the following weeks. Asterisk Jason was arrested and charged with multiple felonies. Asterisk Lily cooperated fully with investigators, providing documents and testimony. Asterisk she filed for divorce. Asterisk she moved into a small apartment across town, starting fresh. Asterisk therapy became her new ritual. Asterisk I updated every legal protection I had. Asterisk Marcus and Robert ensured I was safe from any future exploitation. And gradually, slowly, painfully, my relationship with my daughter began to mend. Not because nothing happened, but because everything happened and we chose to face it together. One step at a time, one conversation at a time. On a quiet evening weeks later, Lily and I sat on my porch, watching the sun set. She turned to me with soft, vulnerable eyes. "Mom," she whispered, "thank you for not giving up on me." I squeezed her hand gently. "A mother's love," I said, "can be bruised, but it doesn't break." She laid her head on my shoulder, and for the first time in months, I felt peace settle over me like a warm blanket. Not perfect peace, but real peace, tender, earned, hard, won. And I realized then sweet revenge wasn't about punishing her. It was about reclaiming myself, my voice, my dignity, my boundaries, my heart, and in doing so I gave my daughter the chance to reclaim hers too.